Okay.
Good?
Good.
All right. The time is 7 p.m., and I call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Red Oak City Council to order. We do have a quorum present. Present are Councilman Brawley, Councilman Drake, Councilman Franklin, Councilman Goodwin. Councilman Wilson is absent. We are conducting this meeting in person and by video conference. And notice has been duly posted in accordance to the Texas Government Code, Section 551. We have a lot of the staff on Zoom. We have some in person, and we have one audience member, and that's Ms. Conley, who will be getting a presentation here just shortly. If you would stand and as I lead us in our invocation and our pledge. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be able to gather, to be able to do the business of the city. Please watch over our first responders, police, fire, our city workers, keep them safe, our administration, most importantly, our citizens who we are elected to be able to serve. Please give us wisdom and keep an open mind and continue to help steer this city in the correct direction, the right direction that benefits all citizens, not just one agenda. I'm going to pause a little bit because I want everybody to remember what this past weekend was all about. Thanks for the military, the service, the people who lost lives in New York and Pennsylvania and D.C. And we just pray for their families. Lord, and again, just give us wisdom to be able to do the works of your will, and that's pleasing in your mind and your eyesight, and give us all strength right now through these trying times. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, Mayor Stanfield. Anyway. So right now we actually get to do a proclamation. Proclamation is something that's exciting to be able to do, and we have this coming up this next week. And Ms. Conley, if you want to come up, and we'll keep a little bit of distance, but I'd like to make this proclamation for. We don't have any other audience. We'll turn back this way, I guess. He's gonna have us on a video, I think, from a distance. So this proclamation is in support of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. The Constitution of the United States, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles in limited government in a republic dedicated by rule of law. On September 17th, 2021, and the week following, we celebrate the 234th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition in this magnificent document and the memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which we commemorate the occasion. And Public Law 915 guarantees the issuance of this proclamation each year by the President of the United States and designates September 17th, through the 23rd as Constitution Week. I, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Red Oak, on behalf of the city council and the citizens, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. So, and we do have Ms. Conley here, who's going to, is a Daughter of America patriot.
Yes.
And so we are pleased to be able to issue that.
Thank you. Yes, we all have several.
Yeah.
If you start looking back, and on behalf of the Old Chisholm Trail chapter, we would like to thank and present to the city of Red Oak our appreciation for celebration and remembrance that this document is a living thing. It's not on just a piece of paper, but that we live and that it changes according to our needs and the needs of its citizens. And I present this to you, and I appreciate very much you proclaiming this week as U.S. Constitution Week. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Another proclamation, which kind of sometimes might go fall behind sometimes, is actually September 21st of 2021. And Chase, I think you're going to be here to be able to accept this. It is IT Pro Day 2021, September 21, 2021. And so many of us we wouldn't be able to function if we didn't have technology. And of course, the city, as being able to function properly, has to have our support staff who keeps everything running and just makes it a lot easier. So I get to proclaim that September 21st as National IT Professionals Day, and we thank you all for your service. Thank you. We do without.
Thank you, Mayor.
You know, our world really revolves around technology, and it's tough. All right. The last one that I actually have, and we'll make sure that Chief Blanton gets this. It's prepare to protect. Preparing for disasters is protecting everyone you love. National Preparedness Month 2021 is in September, and you know, we hope that we don't ever have to claim on being prepared for disasters, but we do know that we live in a dynamic world, and it changes both with weather and disaster, and so anyway, we just know that September is National Preparedness Month, so that's great.
Include the PD also with it?
Yeah, probably so. A little bit of police department stuff there too, and probably a little bit of everybody. So, yeah. All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
So online, Chief Blanton, are you online?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right. Hey, Chase, can we turn this up, the mic up? All right. The volume, they got me muted.
Oh, I got it.
All right, try that again, Chief, all the way up.
Yes, sir, is that better?
Now, yeah, now we can hear you. So my understanding is you got a couple new firefighters that you're going to introduce. Are they online with us?
Yes, sir, they are. I'd like to introduce two new hires, Lane Dotson and Justin Judd. They're out there. They got their cameras on. So if you want to scroll through and try to find them, both of these gentlemen went through our hiring process, including, of course, the physical agility, background investigation, interviews, panel review board. made up of department members, polygraph examinations, psychological examination, and then the last step was a chief's interview. We hired these individuals and they began working with the city on August the 16th. They went through our 2-week orientation class, and prior to them going on shift, Lane Dotson is a certified firefighter EMT. Mr. Dotson doesn't have any previous fire experience. He's currently not married and doesn't have any children, but he's been a great asset to us so far. He's got a eagerness to learn, and he's taken in a lot in the time that he's been with us. And Lane is assigned to A shift at Fire Station 181. And the second gentleman is Justin Judd. He's also a certified firefighter EMT. He worked part-time with the Crandall Fire Department for approximately 1 year prior to us hiring him. And Mr. Judd, along with him, is not married and doesn't have any children either. And Justin is assigned to B shift at Fire Station 181. So I just wanted to show the council and mayor and other city staff, these members, if you see them around town, tell them hello, give them a hard time, prod them a little bit. So we welcome them to our organization and our city, and we're proud to have them.
Excellent. Yeah, gentlemen, thank you for your service, and glad to have you here in Red Oak. So look forward to seeing you in person.
Sir, thank you.
All right. Yep. I
don't think so, but Lieutenant Trillers.
Okay. Lieutenant, you want to introduce us to three new officers?
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council, here this evening to introduce three of our newest officers to the Red Oak Police Department. Each of these officers started our hiring process in October of 2020 and graduated from the North Texas Council of Governments Regional Police Academy in August of 2021. These new officers are currently in Phase 1 of the field training program. I would like to take a moment to introduce each of these officers. First officer is going to be Officer Taylor Rawls. She was born in the city of Lancaster and is the daughter of Brian and Larissa Rawls of Oak Leaf, Texas. Officer Rawls graduated from Midlothian High School in June of 2012. After high school, Officer Rawls enlisted in the United States Navy and was inducted in June of 2013 and was honorably discharged in November of 2016. Officer Rawls obtained the rank of OS3 or E4 and served as I'm going to try my best to pronounce this, a boatswainman. Thank you. During her service time. After the service, Officer Rawls attended Navarro College as well as becoming a certified emergency medical technician. Officer Rawls worked as a dispatcher for the Northern Ellis Emergency Dispatch Center since March of 2019, prior to being hired by the Red Oak Police Department. Some of Officer Rawls' hobbies include hunting and spending time with her family. Next officer is going to be Omar Marquez. He was born in Oak Cliff in the city of Dallas and is the son of Juan and Alicia Marquez of Red Oak, Texas. Officer Marquez graduated from Sunset High School in Dallas, Texas in May of 2018. After high school, Officer Marquez attended Dallas Community College and the University of Texas at Arlington, pursuing a degree in criminal justice. Officer Marquez worked as a sales consultant for Park Cities Ford since September of 2019, prior to being hired by the Red Oak Police Department. Some of Officer Marquez's hobbies include watching the Dallas Cowboys football and trying new seafood restaurants.
Perfect.
The final officer is going to be Officer Steve Perez. Officer Steve Perez was born in the city of Othello in the state of Washington and is the son of Castulo and Sabina Perez of Mission, Texas. Officer Perez graduated from Sherryland High School in Mission, Texas in June of 2016. After high school, Officer Perez enlisted in the United States Marine Corps and was inducted in July of 2016 and was honorably discharged in July of 2020. Officer Perez obtained the rank of Corporal E4 and served as a military police officer at Quantico during his service time. Officer Perez worked as a postal support employee for the U.S. Support Service since October of 2020, prior to being hired to the Red Oak Police Department. Some of Officer Perez's hobbies include playing football, fishing, driving and working on cars, shooting, and most importantly, spending time with his family. They all should be online.
Excellent. So, officers, welcome to Red Oak. We appreciate your service and thank you for being here. Looking forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise.
Excellent. Thank you, Lieutenant. Okay, so now's the time for citizens' comments. we did receive one online submittal. John Larmouth Jr., or is
I believe they're on as well.
the Larmouth?
I believe so, yeah.
Yep, okay. So, Mr. Larmouth, I will read what your statement is. If you want to add anything separate, you can sure do that at the end, or I'll have, actually, I'll have someone read that. You got it?
I got it. So this was actually sent in, a while back on September 3rd. But John F. Larmouth Jr., 106 Post Oak Drive. Hello to all. My name is John Larmouth Jr. I live at 106 Post Oak Drive. I am submitting an urgent request for speed bumps to be placed on Post Oak Drive. Post Oak Drive is used as a cut-through for Red Oak Road. Cars are cutting through and speeding at a high rate. There was a single car accident a few months ago that led to a car running into one of neighbor's car, flipping over and damaging another neighbor's mailbox. I fear that someone will get hurt or at worst get killed by speeding cars cutting through the neighborhood. The neighbors along with me are afraid of our children getting hit by a speeding car. Please take this public appeal as a last resort for something to change. I contacted Public Works and they put out a slow down sign up after 5 months of back and forth communication. I was told by Red Oak Police that those signs don't work. Based on what I have witnessed since the signs were put up, it does not work.
Mr. Larmouth, do you care to speak about anything else? So, just a reminder, within citizens' comments, unless it's on the agenda, we really can't speak to it as a council corporate body. I can share with you, it is on the radar for the police department, and they are looking at trying to mitigate some of that speeding action, okay? Is there anybody else online that wants to speak in public comments? If you do, please make sure you unmute. Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on. So now is the time of what we call a consent agenda. Consent agendas are items that are considered routine in nature and can be acted upon in one motion. Any council member, myself, or city manager may remove an item to be acted upon separately. These items have either been briefed to us in the past, or there's something that are recurring items that we always support. Council, is there any item that needs to be removed from the consent agenda for further discussion?
Let's pull 6, please.
Okay. Item 6. Okay, hearing no other, I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. So moved. Councilman Franklin, Councilman Drake. Those in favor?
Franklin, aye.
Goodwin, aye.
Drake, aye. Raleigh, aye.
All right, that passes 4-0. Now, we will take item 6, separately. It is consider adoption of resolution number 21-075R, the City Council of the City of Red Oak, Texas, authorizing approval of a funding agreement with the Red Oak Area Chamber of Commerce to provide funding in the amount of $8,000 for events benefiting the businesses, community, and the citizens of Red Oak, authorizing the mayor to execute the funding agreement with the Red Oak Area Chamber of Commerce, and which is attached hereto as Exhibit A, following review by the city attorney, repealing all restrictions, resolutions in conflict, and providing a severability clause and providing an effective date. All right, so Councilman, what do you want to talk about?
Of all the groups, I think that we probably don't do as well with the Chamber of Commerce as we probably could. Waxahachie really gets with their program, and it seems like they get a heck of a lot accomplished. I know we're used to comparing ourselves to Waxahachie, but I'm really happy to see the $8,000 going toward them. We might find a way to, my concern is getting a little closer with the business community and see if we can give it a little bit of pop. I just think that we just don't have enough closeness and support that area. And I'd like to see perhaps EDC come up with a little more money or getting some more effort into that for association. That's all I got.
Or IDC,
Huh?
or IDC?
No, not IDC.
Just EDC?
It's EDC. I know you caught that.
All right,
So
so,
we could look at that separately. This is what's budgeted from the general fund.
Yeah.
So we could look at it separately from EDC standpoint, and bring that back separately if we need to.
so, and I think part of the plan also is once we remodel our new city hall, they're supposed to be, have a facility, a meeting facility, an office facility within our city hall. So, we're trying to get there right now. This is the support for what they are able to do, within our budget. And we really can't change that right now. But when IDC fits it back in, then it will be a lot better, to be able to get a little bit more money to them.
Well, I'll tell you, this looks like, don't leave me alone.
All right,
Drive me blind.
all right, so you just wanted to discuss this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I just,
so, other councilmen, anything that you need to know about it?
no comment.
Okay. So are you gonna make a recommendation to approve this, Councilman Goodwin?
Yes.
Okay, so I have an approval, to approve this by Councilman Goodwin,
Second.
Councilman Brawley. Those in favor?
Second, aye. Good, aye.
Great, aye.
Brawley, aye.
Okay. And we will make sure that they know that, we did not just glass over this, that we had a discussion. And I appreciate your comments, and I'm sure they will too. Speaking of which, and I am gonna take this liberty, this past weekend was our, Founder's Day, and it was actually a really good turnout. We had a lot of help from, the fire and the police and the, public works and the park, getting everything together, and it turned out really well. And that event was hosted by the, Chamber of Commerce. And, there was still some uncertainty and stuff, but it was actually turned out to be a really, really good event, so. All right. And you good with everything so far?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Item 9, consider adoption of resolution number 21-078R, the City of Red Oak, Texas, designating an official and alternate newspaper for the City of Red Oak, Texas, and providing an effective date. All right, so each year, and I hate this because I'm still not convinced that we get the best coverage for our city. And unfortunately, we are still by statute through the state required to post these things in newspapers. And I think the newspapers are a dying breed. Right now, who do we use?
Currently, the Waxahachie Daily Light is our primary newspaper, and the Waxahachie Sun is our secondary newspaper. I think part of the problem, though, is that the publication dates are the same. And I believe Karen is online here. I think her and Jonathan were recommending more of a daily, like the Dallas Morning News, so that if we have deadlines that we need to meet, we wouldn't use them on most occasions, but that would give us the opportunity to meet deadlines by having different publication dates.
Morning News would be secondary, right?
Correct. They would be more expensive, so we wouldn't want to use them unless we were in a position where we needed those extended dates. So.
And actually, Todd, the Waxahachie Sun has now dropped down to once a week. So that's very limited.
Okay, so Daily Light still two days a week.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, I like that idea also, even though it costs us a little bit more. And so when do we use a secondary media outlet?
So it's usually going to be for special meetings when we're pushing a deadline.
Okay.
Where just about when the publication date for the primary newspaper comes out, we're not able to meet that 14-day or 30-day or whatever notice period.
So that dollar amount, how does that come out? Does that come out through whatever we're having to do? Is it our working budget? How do we pay for those things?
The $14 a line, just $1.
Yeah, it's through publications just within our, each department may have a different budget for it. So P&Z has a budget for their publications. Karen will have a budget for city council publications and so forth.
So is that then recouped through a fee that part of that fee is allocated to X amount for publication, so it's not out of our?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes we have to publish things that are not because of some third party.
Okay.
For instance, when we're doing tax rate notices or other things that are not development driven, then there's nothing reimbursing us for that. That's just out of our pocket.
Okay.
If it is a developer though, then, we get money back through the application fee on the zoning or the platting or so on and so forth.
Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion, and I'm gonna make this for y'all, to use the Waxahachie Daily Light as our primary and the Dallas Morning News as our secondary. I'd entertain that motion. Thank you, Councilman, Raleigh. Second. Councilman Franklin. Any other discussion? Y'all good with that? Let's hear a vote.
Well, I do have a quick question.
Yep.
Legally, how is it defined as public? Does that mean it has to be like a written, or could it be a email blast, or a phone call blast?
No, it's got to be published in the actual written newspaper.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, I think we're at the vote.
Franklin, aye.
Aye. Aye. Raleigh, aye.
All right, that passes 4-0. Item 10, thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Item 10, consider adoption of resolution number 21-079R, the City Council of City Red Oak, Texas, accepting a voluntary annexation petition and authorizing the setting of a date, time, and place for a public hearing on the contemplated annexation described in Exhibit A and depicted in Exhibit B attached hereto and made a part hereof for all purposes annexation area by the City of Red Oak, Texas, authorizing and directing city staff to publish notice of such hearing with the institution of annexation proceedings by adoption of the annexation ordinance to occur at a special called city council session, and to prepare a service plan for the annexation area, said annexation area being more particularly described in Exhibit A and depicted in Exhibit B, and provide an effective date.
And this is the property along Houston School Road, north of the property that Compass Data Centers has already purchased and started development on. It's under contract, and it needs to be brought in, for continued development, so that we can get it zoned and platted and so forth.
So is this the one that we are starting, within a month that we need to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and so in your packet, it shows that, today's September 13th, it's the resolution to set one public hearing. The newspaper notice will go out October 6th. And then we'll hold a public hearing on October 18th for, annexation ordinance at the city council meeting. So is there anything else that needs to be put in here, Mr. Hartman?
No, it's got everything included to meet the timelines.
Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 21-079R. Councilman Franklin. Second. Councilman Drake. Those in favor?
Whitehead, aye.
Aye.
Drake, aye.
Raleigh, aye.
Excellent. And that passes 4-0. Item 11, conduct a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 21-038, City of Red Oak, Texas, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance and map of the city of Red Oak, Texas, as heretofore amended by granting a change in the zoning from AG to Planned Development PD 128 based on Commercial 1 to allow for auto repair use and related improvements on approximately 0.85 acres of Lot 15 of the Bomar Acres, 2527 Ovilla Road, City of Red Oak, Ellis County, Texas, as provided by Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein, providing for a site plan and elevations which are attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit B and C, providing a repealing clause, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, providing a penalty of a fine not to exceed the sum of $2,000 for each offense, and providing an effective date. This is case number 20020, requested by help?
Cal, take it.
Okay. All right. So you want to give us some background? You want us to do this public hearing first?
Yeah, Mayor, this is Brian Genzel. I can give a brief presentation.
Sure.
Okay. So the property, which y'all can see on your screen, I hope, is at the corner of Hillcrest and Ovilla Road. Its currently address is 2527. The Cal owns this property here, by the way, and is in contract to buy this property next door. Just wanted to give that as a just informational note, but the zoning only applies to this middle lot, address 2527. He's proposing a Lubin tune. We've been working with him. We were originally looking at his commercial 1 zoning, but what had happened was at the Planning and Zoning Commission, there was a concern that these homes, the homes over here, may feel that there's, the noise and such. So P&Z wanted to ensure that a masonry wall would be required here, because under our ordinance, it's based on the requirements based on the district being residential, and that's not a residential district, it's ag. So the only way to ensure that you could require the masonry wall is to make it a PD. So this request conforms completely to C1 commercial zoning, all the standards. It's just the added requirement that they put in a masonry wall here. And there will be a shared driveway between this lot and this lot. We have an access easement agreement. Again, he owns both sides, but there's an access easement agreement here. So the idea at least is, as the other two lots develop, they'll be able to share these drive accesses because they'll have shared access between both sites. And then to give you, and again, he's meeting all the standards, lots of landscaping, meets or exceeds the C1 standard. Then again, it's a 100% masonry building. There are 4 bays for providing the minor auto repair services such as lube and tune. Yeah, let me get you.
4 or 5, right?
Sorry?
Is it 4 bays or 5 bays?
4.
Because the pictures show 5.
Oh, sorry. I had a delay on my screen. 5, yes. So, yes, 5 bays, and then this is a colorized version, a little bit easier to see on a small screen than the black and white. With that, what else can I tell you? I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. P&Z approved it unanimously once it came back as a PD with that masonry wall requirement. So with that, I'll end my report and take any questions you may have. And I believe the applicant is here on the Zoom tonight.
And it is consistent with the future land use plan, so that is what the area was.
Where exactly is this?
Can you go back to the?
Methodist or?
No, it's Oakville Road.
Where we overlooking Hillcrest? Oh, okay, way over on.
On the west.
Okay, oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks, Mr. Gensel.
And the only person that spoke out was Ms. Wade?
Originally, but she's now got a contract to sell her property to them, so they've worked out their issues. It sounds like that's not going to be an issue anymore.
And what, across the street at 2601, what is that?
Oh, over here.
To
Yeah, it's a
warehouse.
Yeah.
Mini storage.
Storage, okay.
What about across the street?
Across the street is going to be commercial. It's part of the land that Ted Zeta has the residential behind it, and he left the frontage out so that they can develop in the future.
And I'm assuming 105 is residential.
105 is residential, that's the house.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And that's where that brick wall will be,
Okay.
masonry wall. Okay, all right. All right, so this is a public hearing. And we will open the public hearing at 7:39. Is there anyone? Wants to speak for it?
Yep, this is Cal. I would like to speak for it.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Cal Takadine. I'm the applicant and the property owner. I reside at 3321 University Park Lane in Irving, Texas. I currently have 2 businesses in Red Oak. I've been in Red Oak for about 20 years doing business. One is 290 East Ovella Road. It's the Shell station. And the other business is at 598 Northwest Highway 342. That's the Exxon station. I'm in favor of this project. I believe it will bring good growth to the city of Red Oak, and it will bring business from neighboring cities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, anyone else? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing at 7:40. Councilman Drake and then Councilman Goodwin. Those in favor of closing?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, closes 4-0 at 7:40. So, and I'm not sure what page, Brian, if you have the same packet we do, page 136.
Now working off that,
Where it shows the site plan, Ovilla Road to the right, Hillcrest to the top of the page. So so what was the discussion to have the wood fence? So there is a house there, or is there not? Or was that one the one that burnt down?
well, to the south is Ms. Wade's property, and she's got some people renting the house from her right now. So we had discussed the idea of trying to do a wood fence here, but since she's now entered into a contract with Cal to sell the property, it sounds like that issue has now gone away. So there's really not a need for the wood fence. Cal is not interested in being a landlord.
I'm talking about to the east.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so Miss
Sorry.
Wade is to the east, right?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's the east.
But to the south, what's to the south?
South will have the masonry wall here, and that's a residential home.
Okay. And so Cal's gonna be buying the one to the east.
Correct.
Okay, correct, all right. Okay,
Just luck, Cal.
all right.
I guess.
Any further discussions, council?
Yes, unless I missed it, right off of Hillcrest, what's the plan for that vacant?
That corner?
Yeah.
Well, he owns that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where the shared access agreement will come in for that drop approach?
Right.
Okay.
So it's mandatory put into the south of that property, because that's gonna be the fire lane loop going around. But in the future, there'll be one in the very front towards Ovilla Road that communicates to both the east and the west property.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so the lot on both the right and left side of this property will be commercial in the future, and we'll deal with that at that point. But we do have the access provided for both of them.
Okay. So the contract with the resident is this property right here where
The one that says wood fence?
so that's theirs as well, and it works well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I'm.
Yes,
So I guess
there would be no reason to rezone that unless they buy it and try to redevelop,
Okay.
because it's already an existing home there right now, just rented.
and I guess if they keep a resident there, I would want concrete up, a masonry fence put up. So if that deal falls through, is there a way to do that?
Well, actually, the zoning is not required next to just because it's a residential house there, that's not what requires the masonry. It's the actual zoning district that requires the masonry. So that lot would in the future be commercial zoning district, and it wouldn't be required. It would only be for the lots behind it,
That are
which
residential.
would actually be residential zoning.
So are those ag though, right now?
They're ag right now.
But isn't that one also ag?
It probably is, but on the future land use plan, it is set for C1.
Okay. All right. All right. So any other discussion? Council, you satisfied?
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right. Entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 21-038. Councilman, Goodwin, I'm sorry. Okay. That's Councilman Franklin. Those in favor?
Franklin, aye.
Good night.
Drake, aye.
Raleigh, aye.
All right, that passes 4-0. Item 12, conduct a continued public hearing and consider approval of ordinance 21-029, the City of Red Oak, Texas, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance and map of the City of Red Oak, Texas, as hereto amended, and the same is hereby amended the granting of a change in zoning from highway-oriented to planned development highway-oriented zone district, PD, on approximately 0.09751 plus or minus acres of land being Lot 1, Block A of the Anadon development located at 106 East Ovilla Road, and an addition of the City of Red Oak, Ellis County, Texas, and being depicted as provided in Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein to allow for development and use and maintenance of uses as permitted under the highway-oriented designation, subject to the development regulations providing a repealing clause, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, and providing a penalty of fines not to exceed the sum of $2,000 for each offense, and providing an effective date. This is case Z21022, requested by Mike Boyd. All right, so council, this was one that we moved to this month because of legalese aspect, and we think that we got it worked out now. Is that right?
Yes,
Maybe.
All right.
We think. Think is the operative.
Okay, so,
So-
Mr. Gensel, you want to
Yeah.
catch
Yes.
us up?
Yes, sir. So again, this all kind of starts with the idea of, if you need a new CO for any reason, we check your parking and landscaping. If it doesn't meet code, there's an issue. So as you may remember, we've done several of these now where, in particular on Ovilla with the text dot taking right of way, it tends to wipe out a lot of people's landscaping. And understandably, I mean, people didn't exactly provide extra landscaping and extra parking. So when they lose it, they become non-compliant for landscaping and sometimes parking. So for Mr. Boyd, he's got a UPS store and a Firehouse Subs that's looking to come in. And we've got the issue with the parking and the landscaping for the CO. And so that's kind of what brought all this up. And there is one tree, I believe, that's currently living, but we need to add the 3 original ones back here. And sounds like Mr. Boyd doesn't have a issue with that. There's really no point in requiring anything along Ovilla Road because this is all going to be text dot right away. And the other thing was he's 3 parking spaces short, and so staff has proposed reducing the parking requirement by 3 rather than dealing with parking agreements. He'd like 5. This was kind of predicated also on the idea that we might be able to work out an access easement agreement between these 2 properties, the one to his east, and I think I'm saying that correctly this time. And one thing we noticed, I can't show it to you here, it's in the Google satellite image, but you can see there's tire tracks where people are coming from the gas station and cutting into Mr. Boyd's property, I guess to get donuts or whatever. And so we just thought it was a good idea, especially with the text dot taking, that there be an access easement agreement so these 2 properties could have shared access. The idea being to reduce interruptions of traffic flow on Ovilla Road. But Mr. Boyd had his concerns about the access easement agreement. Some of that, as I understand it, I'll let him speak to it later, but I'll try to hopefully say it correctly. And he, of course, can correct me later if I say it wrong. But since the donut shop is here, I think he's concerned about how the access easement agreement if there's traffic flow, may mess up the morning kind of wait line, the queue there for donuts. So I believe, if I understood correctly, that was his concern, was how it may impact the business there. So you may have noticed in your packet, you've basically got two PDs. The first draft ordinance PD is worked out by staff and the city attorney. The second one is one that's proposed by Mr. Boyd and his attorney. The concern that we have as staff in reviewing Mr. Boyd's is the access easement agreement in their version only occurs if this driveway on the adjacent property is taken or lost due specifically to the TxDOT widening at this time. If that doesn't happen, then we don't get an access easement agreement. So that's just not kind of what we had talked and thought about when we were talking about the parking reduction. Again, it's always kind of a bit of trying to work out something that seems fair to everybody and to the value of the city and everything. So, you know, that's just kind of where we stand. Is he has his concerns and reservations about the easement agreement, and the city has its concerns about the landscaping and parking, and seemed like having an access easement agreement would be a good thing, but that's that would only occur again if the driveway on the adjacent property was taken or lost. And I guess I buried the lead there. We don't have anything from TxDOT saying that's happening. The plans they've given us, they're going to keep the driveway here. The driveway is not going anywhere. So, so anyways, long story short, we had hoped to work out the access easement agreement. It doesn't, even though they are providing one, it wouldn't be executed or take effect. It seems like in reality, because the event they're saying that would trigger it, we're not aware of actually happening, because TxDOT, as far as we know, is not going to close down that driveway on the adjacent property. So with that said, I mean, that's kind of the overview of the case. I believe the applicant and his attorney are also here tonight. With that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gensel.
You just we got a broader picture of this so we can locate it.
Red Oak Road?
Huh?
Red Oak Road?
Well, I don't know where Ryan is on that. I'm country boy. I live in the line marks, not City Street.
Red Oak Road.
Oh, okay. All right. I got it.
Okay. All right, this is a public hearing. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:53. Mr. Boyd?
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
So, I hope, Mr. Gensel kind of conveyed it properly. If not, please, share with us, what you want to share with us.
No, that was pretty much it. I was concerned about two things: the effect that it would have on the donut shop in their drive-through, and the other thing that I expressed to Brian is the shopping center next door is not maintained very well, and I had a little bit of a concern about people tying our shopping center into that one. And he had mentioned that they were going to try to enforce more code on the maintaining of the shopping center. And I was unaware that until just now that we did not have an agreement on the access center. Or access lane. So I apologize about that. I thought we had worked that out.
You have an access easement agreement. It just it doesn't reflect what we thought we were doing.
Okay.
But I mean, there is a document. It just
okay. I guess I'll have to defer to Melissa on that because I'm not familiar with that issue.
Hi, this is Melissa Linlow, and I represent the property owner on the zoning case. I've been working with Bob Hager on the PD language that's in the packet from the applicant, and it was my understanding he had signed off on that language, and that language was tied to closing the driveway on the neighboring property. It's in both the PD document and the easement document that I provided. And so the first I understood that there was a disconnect on this issue was when I read the staff report today. Is Bob available? Is he part of this meeting?
He is.
Hey, Bob.
Hi. I mean,
sorry to put you on the
I've
spot, but
always,
that's
I
just
signed
my
off on the
understanding.
language, assuming the council's okay with doing it. I don't have any problem with what Melissa's proposed. If the cross access is really unnecessary if both driveways are there. I don't know if Ben's got an opinion about this since he's our city engineer, but I don't have any problem with the language that's been proposed. I don't have any problem with the proposal from the applicant, but I don't get to vote. So, but I'm okay with the language if the council wants to entertain that condition.
Yeah, well, you know, we can't close somebody else's driveway. That would kind of come up to TxDOT. So that kind of makes it an impasse. We can't do that.
Yeah, my concern, Mayor and Council, was that this gets closed and now there's no real trigger, if you will, to have the people on the eastern, Mr. Boyd's property cross over in the other property and to use that. And then he closed that off and then Mr. Boyd's left with no way of getting his tenants, customers in and out of there. And what Brian was proposing is just that cross access easement. But in the event that it's not closed off, then I assuming making left-hand turns into either one of these shopping centers may be problematic in the future, but.
Yeah, there'll be a median down the middle, so yeah, there won't be any left turns going into these properties after the road is built.
So it's either right in and right out, so that I get, if there's conflict traffic in Mr. Boyd's property and in the applicant's property and the Anadon property, then you've got those people making left-hand turns in front of people trying to make right-hand or left-hand turns in and out of there. So yeah, if there is a median, then that problem is resolved. It's just, there's no sense to quote, take someone's property for this cross-access easement if there's no need to. So I think, Mary, you've answered that question. So I have no problem with what Ms. Lindelo's proposed in her application.
Okay. So is there anybody else that needs to speak on this public hearing? Well, if not, we'll close that and we'll discuss.
Yeah, I just wanted to put in 2 cents on it. When it comes to the access easement agreement, it would probably be, in my opinion, to put the access at the back of the property where they can shoot straight through and get to the light. To improve the safety in that area from people trying to cross the, 4 to 5 lanes to get back over there to go back toward town. They could go up to the light right there between Railroad Drug and the post office and use that. And it would increase the safety of people going there.
My
because I've seen
understanding
a lot of
that
accidents there.
The east side of the Anadon property has a drive-through. Is that right, Brian?
Yes, sir.
So now you got conflict with people.
Correct.
Here, I don't know if there's enough room to squeeze that car in and then people trying to make that left turn around the queue after they receive their pastries and are on a sugar high exiting out on the street.
All right, so the last gentleman that was speaking was Chris Moses. And Mr. Moses, I don't know your address, but you're out on the east side. Chris, can you give us your
120
address?
Steinbeck Court. Yeah, 120 Steinbeck Court.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close this at 8 p.m.
Mr. Mayor, before it close, Matt, was Mr. Moses' comment something in for it or against, since they live right next to the front?
No, he doesn't live next to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Okay, Councilman, Franklin,
Second.
Councilman Brawley. Those in favor? Aye. All right, that's 4-0. All right,
So historically, on this, the reason that we were asking for the access easement is any new development that goes in, we typically have that as a requirement to have that cross-access easement for almost specifically what Mr. Moses was talking about, and we've done this for a number of years. When you have so much traffic that TxDOT has to come in and build 6 lanes and build a overpass for 70,000 vehicles a day, we've tried to get that cross-access easements so that you can travel back and forth without having to get out into the huge traffic congestion out on the main road. When Red Oak Drug was originally built, that was prior to that requirement requiring those cross-access easements. Whenever the building to the east of that, and those even further east of that, came in, we were able to get those through those properties. However, Mr. Boyd, and there was no trigger mechanism to require him to do it, but we tried to get it at that point. EDC was willing to pay to actually put the concrete on the ground and make that work, so that you would be able to go all the way from Walmart's driveway down there, all the way down to, was it Reese or Ryan, whichever it was. We had a similar situation on Racetrack gas station when Chicken Express and Chipotle and those guys came in. We got the cross-access easement all the way through there, but since Racetrack was already there, we couldn't require it at that point. So when this came up to get the zoning, which is why we brought it up, trying to do that at this point so that you don't have to get out onto the raceway and get run over. So it really is kind of based on what Mr. Moses was talking about.
so I asked, instead of having it along Ovilla Road, could it not be further north to the back of the property?
To the rear?
Yeah. And
Potentially.
Mr. Boyd, would that wouldn't hinder the lineup of people getting their sugar high?
No, the only issue is I'd have to look at it, but there's my dumpster is back there on the northeast side of the property.
So, who owns that? Is your lot there at the end of the concrete?
Yes.
Or does it go back like those others do?
No, I believe that's probably owned by Walmart, but I don't know that for sure.
Well, maybe, and this is where maybe EDC can, extend that back, just buy a little section of that to put that dumpster out of the way. Could you not benefit from parking further back in the back too?
No, we do not have any parking. That's fire lane in the back.
Well, I'm saying if a swatch of parking was purchased back behind there, would that benefit you?
I guess potentially it could, I guess. We've not had any parking issues there, so.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get that dumpster out of the way, moving it back a little bit and having that entrance, that communication back in the back. That way people aren't cutting through your front part.
Right.
Too, like Mr. Moses talks about, and then the donut people could exit, if they wanted to go back out to the right. So anyway, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, I'd have no problem with that. I just don't know who owns the property back there or if it's available.
I believe it is Walmart.
Okay.
Now, I don't know whether I don't know that your concrete goes completely up to the property line. There may be a few feet of grass in there, but
right.
But whatever the other property owner is, it is Walmart.
Okay.
Well, I'm just trying to think a little bit differently.
Right.
Because I hate that you're losing 3 spots. Where are the 3 spots that you're supposed to be losing?
Actually, we're not losing any. I was not aware that there were more parking requirements for a business like Firehouse Subs, and we're actually 3 short, from what I've been told.
I see, okay.
He had retail and other uses in there before, so now the new uses are kicking in more parking requirements. So the number of spaces haven't changed, just the requirements changed.
Okay, sorry about that, my misunderstanding. So, Mr. Gendel, are we at a kind of an impasse? We can't really do anything until we know what TxDOT's gonna do?
Well, I think, well, as far as I know, the plans we've been given, TxDOT is, my point is TxDOT is not saying anything about taking these driveways away. And the access easement agreement is predicated on the adjacent property driveway going away. So the access easement agreement doesn't really then matter to us, you know, because that event is unlikely to occur from what we know. But with what y'all are talking about as other options, you know, I think for staff, all we really care about is if there's a path that can be worked out that these 2 properties can have shared access at some point, now or in the future, but basing it on the conditions that Ms. Linlow wrote up, it's just not our understanding that that event is going to occur. I would say it's better than nothing because it's something, but it's just not the event that we imagine.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the thing that really probably should happen, since I can spend other people's money in giving advice, is to close the Anandon driveway and enclose the Pizza Hut driveway and have a common driveway between the 2. That's what makes the most sense for us, so that you come in and take a left, come in or take a right.
Well,
But, you know, that's not what we got. If we were designing this, we wouldn't have these 2 driveways on this major thoroughfare. Because if you want to go, if you're at the taqueria and you decide you want to go get a pizza too, you're going to have to get back on 664 and make that maneuver. So to y'all's point, makes sense. There's some cross access. Makes sense for both property owners. So you can pass it requiring the easement to be done as we originally proposed. You can pass the ordinance with the proposal that Ms. Lindelow has drafted, or you can continue the public hearing and see if we can do something on the north sides of these properties.
Is there a way to pass it contingent upon, pass it with an access easement in some point along the property line, where we're not having to hold them up? And you know, they got tenants wanting to go in and get COs and so forth. So really don't want to wait around another month or 2. Is there a way to pass it contingently, or to provide some time for that to happen?
You could pass it with the condition that a cross-access easement be approved by the city manager or the planning director or the public works director. And the council would delegate that responsibility to locate the cross-access easement.
So that way we know that there has to be, just not.
Hi, this is Melissa again. I've got a couple of questions, if I may. If this were to be tabled, when is the next time the council could consider it?
A month.
Okay.
We only have 1 meeting a month, Melissa.
Okay.
It'll
And
be October 12th because of Columbus Day.
And this neighboring property owner, have they agreed to grant an easement? Because even if Anadon grants an easement, what happens if the neighboring property owner does nothing? Don't there have to be easements on both sides of the property line?
on that side.
Okay, I'm not aware of it. I haven't been provided with it, and I don't know if it aligns with where Anadon's proposed easement is located.
Well, it sounds like there's some more things that need to be supplied. I sure like it towards the back because it doesn't interfere with the donut house, and I like the donut house, but anyway, that's not here or there. And I sure would like it if you got another switch strip of land and evened up with that property to the east, so you had some parking back there. Because, you know, if you have your two shops that are coming in there, that's gonna take up employee working at the sub shop and the UPS store. That's gonna give them place to be able to drive in and pick up packages in the back. So it'd be nice to work that out, and I don't know how that goes, but I need a direction, Mr. Fuller.
Yes, I think, Mike, what was in there previously?
It was Domino's previously, and the UPS store is going into a space that I cut out of the pharmacy.
Okay, so the UPS store really isn't doing anything for the parking, it's just the Firehouse Subs that is
Correct.
creating the parking
Yeah.
issue. What does your timetable look like, Mike? Can you make it another month, or do you need to move sooner?
You know, I really don't know, Todd. I'd like to get it taken care of. You know, I understand the issues here, and like I said, was unaware of them till tonight.
Todd, is it too late to edit?
No, we could do that.
That would get too.
Yeah, that way we don't have to post notice because we just continue the public hearing. Oh, well, actually, we already had the public hearing. We don't even have to continue it. We can add it to the 27th, when we've got another meeting. Would that help?
September 27th?
Right, 2 weeks from today.
Mike, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what we need to do, I'm just whatever you guys decide needs to be done.
Because I think we need to be able to provide, if we already have that agreement for the property to the east, sounds like, ma'am, you need that copy of that so you can kind of see how it aligns.
Yeah, and if we're trying to move it to the back side of the property, then we may need to get the easement changed on that property. Okay.
All right, so we will, how do we table this until the 27th?
Mayor, if I would propose a motion to postpone decision on this case to September 27th at your special meeting at 7 p.m.
All right, and that's a voted?
Somebody so move?
So moved. Thank you. All right, that was Councilman Goodwin to do the recommendation per the lawyer, and Councilman Franklin seconded it. And those in favor?
Franklin, aye.
Aye. Rick, aye.
Raleigh, aye.
All right, that's 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Boyd.
Yes, sir.
So Brian, just make sure that if we have that agreement, that we get that to the opposing council so they can review that, quickly as we can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right, item 13, conduct a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 21-038, City of Red Oak, Texas, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance and map of the City of Red Oak, Texas as heretofore amended by granting a change in the zoning from Plan Development 27 PD 27 to Plan Development 27 revised PD 27 R2 to allow for development of up to 54 single-family detached homes, including a neighborhood, amenities, and open space of approximately 14 acres on Lot 2, Block A of the Emerson Addition, City of Red Oak, Ellis County, Texas, said property being more particularly described in Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein, providing for site plan, providing plan, site views, elevations, plan development conditions, Exhibits B, C, D, E, F respectively, which are attached hereto and incorporated herein as development regulations, providing a repealing clause, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, and providing a penalty of fine not to exceed the sum of $2,000 for each offense, and providing an effective date. This is case D 21021, requested by
Naveen.
Naveen Kamafani.
All right, Mr. Hartman, give us some background.
Brian's
sorry,
gonna present everything for you.
Yep, thank you, sorry.
No problem. Okay, so if y'all can see, so the orange outline here, this is roughly the 14 acres where the development that we're talking about, the single family development. And this is where the Emerson was approved previously, so that's what would be to its south. And of course, to the east is our Hickory Creek Road and Coyote Ridge Hickory Creek development. Just want to give you a little orientation to the area there. So the idea here is a mix of 50 and 60 foot wide lots. They're taking their design cues from the subdivisions in the area of Hickory Creek and Coyote Ridge. There's a, well, just so you know, so Hickory Creek Drive is running here. And so they would be adding a street here that currently is labeled as North Haven Street, and splitting between Oxford Street this is a park, so they propose a nice little park area, and the houses would front the park. Over here is another park play area. Generally, this area is more for drainage purposes. Across the front would be a meandering sidewalk as well as landscaping area, with these houses fronting Hickory Creek Drive. And so where you see the orange, all these houses are served by an alley, so they have garages in the back. Where you see yellow, these are front entry garages, but at P&Z did ask, and it's in the PD text, that a condition for requiring a wood look or wood garage door that is decorative, not unlike a carriage style door, and that windows would also be permissible in such a garage door. So that would be a requirement for the garage doors. And let's see, I think that's a good overview of the site plan. Actually, let me give you we've got a fly through. This is probably a bit better to get a good feel for it. So this is Hickory Creek Drive there. You're looking south-ish.
How wide are those lots? 50 and 60.
One thing to note as we go through the fly-through is that the foundation plantings were left off just to declutter the
render
fly-through video. So there's a requirement that there'll be foundation plantings in the fronts of every home.
Planted, shrubs and shrubs.
All these homes they allow the garages to be on the front?
All the yellow ones.
That's on the east side of the,
That's on the south side of the property, the west side of the property,
but the garage.
and the north side of the property. Garage facing the street.
Rest of them are rear end. Good move.
We didn't like.
I like rear end garage.
Well, for a while, we agreed that we weren't gonna allow that.
Because we didn't like alleys.
Right.
But,
Does HOA maintain alleys?
yeah, a little bit different, that's better. All right, so that's good. Well, this is a public hearing. Anything else you want to put in there?
No, I mean, I think kind of the visuals shared. I think someone asked something about the lot width. It's a mix of 50s and 60s. That's half percentage. And as you can see, there's the decorative fence in the front, provide a little sense of separation, but still and kind of inviting to the sidewalk.
That's along Hickory Creek right there, Brian?
Yes, sir. Yes, this is along Hickory Creek. And fronting the houses this way do more to support also the development and infrastructure costs of the city by fronting Hickory Creek. And of course, this allows you to have that rear entry garage. And so it's I forget the exact number, but most of the houses are rear entry. See if I can figure out how to get out of this thing.
All right, so the public hearing is at 8:22. Naveen, are you on to be able to speak?
Yes, sir. My name is Naveen, and I'm the civil engineer for this project. My office is at 2770 Main Street, 171 Frisco, Texas. I think, like the fly-through kind of gives you an overview of what we're proposing there. I'm mainly here to answer any questions you guys may have. I'm in support of this project.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? Anybody else that wants to speak on this project?
Yeah, where is the exact location? I'm a little confused about the Hickory Creek.
All right, who asked that?
This is John Larmouth at 106 Post Oak.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's on Hickory Creek, north of that intersection with Red Oak Road. I don't know what the dimension is. That's what's the Hickory Creek Lane subdivision road that kind of intersects closest to where it is?
Red Oak Road and Hickory Creek, west of it.
Oh, okay. So this is across the street from the Hickory Creek subdivision.
Yes,
that is correct.
Oh, okay.
North of the apartments that were approved.
Okay.
2-3 months ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Garden Grove.
So Garden Grove might come across into it. All right. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing at 8:24. Councilman Drake, I'm sorry.
Oh, what's his name?
And Goodwin seconded it. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's 4-0 closing. Okay, Mr. Ginsel, I thought, did we not have a discussion about on the west side of that property, there being a trail that goes down from the north?
So it actually comes out right where, I don't know if you guys can see Brian's cursor there on the screen. It actually comes out right there. There's a, I think that's a piece of the HOA lot, if I can if I remember right. Let's see if I can pull the plat real
So the
quick.
trail crosses across the road and comes down by the pond.
Okay, all right. Okay, I just want to make sure that that wasn't getting cut out or anything.
I have a couple of questions. Could you please pull up the rendering for the properties on Hickory Creek?
Okay.
They face onto a brick wall.
Let's see. Well, I guess which rendering on?
You know, I think the video that you were showing, I think that was perfect.
Oh, okay. So go back to that.
Please.
Okay.
It's the houses that actually front out, looking out onto Hickory Creek, right?
Right, so I seen, so we stop it here, where you see traffic flow. I see so this fence that I see, is that individual access for each property? Because I noticed there are no fences, on the side property line, so can someone just randomly walk off the street and walk into that gate?
So you're talking about over here?
Yes.
Okay.
So if I'm just walking down the street, can I just open that gate and walk up to
that house,
that property?
UPS.
Yeah. In theory, yeah.
but they can't park along Hickory Creek.
Right, there's no parking.
There's no parking along, okay, because I guess my concern is someone just walking up, open this gate, since there are no privacy gates on the side parking lines or rear parking lines, I can just walk in someone's gate, cut across the yard, and walk to someone else's house in the back.
Yeah, I think it's a little misleading that the rendering is meant to show the massing of the site. The homes will have standard side yard fencing and gates and things like that in the back as a standard privacy fence, but the rendering is merely to show the massing of the subdivision and not every detail that would actually go into the development.
Okay, so, okay, thanks for that. Secondly, sorry, go ahead. Got it. Secondly, we mentioned the garage doors facing the street. So on the, turn into the property, go down, make that left, yeah, right there. So we're
south facing on that.
Okay, so those facing that street, are we gonna write in any type of verbiage for the distance from that garage door to the, property line?
Yeah, there's a standard in the text of the PD. I forget what it says at the moment.
It's 25 feet, and we also had we also wanted the garage to be pushed back from the front elevation by at least 2 feet. So that just to ensure that the garage isn't just poking out in the front of the house, so that trying to make the front porch the more prominent feature than the garage.
Okay, so 27 feet, give or take?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So Brian, I want to verify those along Harlow, our Harrow Street, those are front facing. The ones along the West Oxford, those are front facing. But the ones along North Haven, those are rear entrance, because there's an alley behind it.
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
So if you look at the site plan, they got the colors, the orange colored lots are all rear entry, and the yellow colored lots are, front entry.
So what is the rationale for having that steel fence along Hickory?
So we wanted to provide enough space from the front of the home to Hickory Creek because it functions so much like a collector as it goes through from Red Oak to Ovilla. And so by by making the first 20 feet, if you can kind of see there, the first 20 feet is actually an HOA owned and maintained lot. So there's 20 feet and then that fence, which is where the actual yard starts. So that'll kind of allows them to utilize the site as best as possible from a, a numbers standpoint, money basically, to get the appropriate amount of lots in there to make the property work. So typically we wouldn't want to see homes like this fronting Hickory because it's a higher volume roadway. And then adding the fence gives you a little bit of sense of a front yard space, while also kind of getting, some nicer elevations on the front of Hickory. So having the front elevations on Hickory is nice because, we get to look at the front of a home as we drive down instead of like on the other side is we're just looking at the backs of the homes. But to make it a little bit safer, throwing in that HOA lot in the front so that the homes weren't right up on the street or trying to take access from the street, via driveways, whether they were swing or front or whatever. And then having the alley gives us a little better streetscape, a little safer area. The sidewalk is further away from the roadway than typical. And then you've also got the opportunity for trees and landscaping that is shown in the development plans as well, that the HOA will own and maintain on day one, like before any house is built.
Make more consistent maintenance all along the roadway.
So lastly, for the property that's fronting Hickory Street, how are they gonna control the parking on that street for guests?
The street is actually already signed no parking. I think it was done, Scott's guys in Public Works did that, I think, maybe a couple years ago. Scott, do you remember?
It was done before.
Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I was just gonna say it was done prior to me being here. So, 3 years, at least 3 years.
I think in any case, we're not changing the no parking. It's already signed no parking. It's going to remain no parking.
So I think what Councilman Franklin might be alluding to is when they have a guest, where's the guest supposed to park?
Right.
I agree, and we had the same conversation at P&Z. Now, if you look kind of in the back, there is street parking available around that kind of detention area and the playground park back there, and they do have walkable access from there. Another thing we also required was that the garages be a bare minimum of 20 feet from the alley, from the actual property line, not from the alley, from the actual property line in the back, so that you could pull up 2 cars in front of the garage. Now, that'll be fine for when mom and dad come visit and help take care of the kids or whatever, but yeah, on graduation day, they're gonna have to park on the street and walk a little bit. But guess what? They've got a big 20-foot wide HOA lot with a 5-foot sidewalk that runs in the front of the properties to get over there. So we did go a little, Brian and I went back and forth and discussing on, what was the best way to kind of plan for that. And I think ultimately what we decided was we don't want to design a whole subdivision around a 3-time-a-year occurrence. We want to design around what's the everyday occurrence. And yeah, sometimes on those 3 times a year occurrence, people are going to have to walk, but that's why we provide sidewalks. And we also provided sidewalks in such a way that, we're providing street trees in this, which encourages walking. It shades the sidewalk. The hope is that, people are enjoying the walking in these newer subdivisions as they're being built for walkability as well as livability. But we also discussed possibly having an off-site parking, lot, or not a lot, but maybe some parallel spots or something that were actually dedicated beyond the width of a regular roadway. But it's not a whole lot, and again, it would really only be utilized in those kind of overflow or larger get-together gathering situations.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just, personally for me, with 16 lots, give or take, moving toward a time where a lot of people are holding smaller family gatherings versus going out to places, I would much rather see some parking along Hickory Creek beyond the actual street. I don't know if that's just me wishful thinking. I don't know if that's possible. Some type of endemic parking or something like that. That I'm pretty certain anyone who has a guest who lives on Hickory Creek, their guest is going to park on the street, regardless of the sign.
And that 20-foot space could be utilized for parking. It would just, we kind of had the same conversation in P&Z was, are we providing parking again for not the everyday situation, but more often occurrences than maybe used to be in the past. But we're just trading that for green space. Because you could knock that 20-foot down to 10 and provide basically a 10-foot parallel parking space, or you get rid of it entirely and have angled parking. But then again, you're just trading green space for concrete. So we're in a talk of function versus aesthetics.
So part of the problem with parking there along Hickory Creek, even if it's not on the street itself, is just the huge amount of traffic going down the street, which is why we don't have any houses fronting onto it. It's because we don't want people coming in and out of, in front of homes along that highly trafficked street. The only thing I can see that you might do is just flip-flop it, where you have the rear or the front entry garages along Hickory Creek and have a brick wall up there, just like you do on the other side in Hickory Creek subdivision, and then you put the rear on the west side, basically just flip-flop the whole thing. And then you would have front parking, on the internal street off of the thoroughfare.
Right.
But I'd be very concerned with trying to put people coming out onto Hickory Creek all along through there. Yeah.
There's nothing to stop it. Is North Haven scheduled to go all the way to the access road?
At some point, yeah, we do have that on the transportation plan. Now, they're not taking it up there right now. They'll stub it out so that it'll eventually get up there.
And the mailbox inset, that's in that Oxford Island?
No, it's actually over by the playground.
But on Oxford though.
By the detention area?
Right. Detention playground.
There's no leave, is this some Lee Woods property?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, I trust staff's expertise, just have the personal concern.
I understand what you're talking about, and, I can see that being a problem for the people that live there. I wouldn't want to live somewhere where I'd have to have my daughter's boyfriend park way off down there and then walk up here, but I don't know what else you can do other than flip-flopping it or trying to put in some more parking internally. So.
Right. Okay.
All right. Any other questions, council? delay just a minute. Oh. So, Mr. Naveen, did y'all look at flip-flopping that at all? Those western, 10 lots being more along, the backing up to Hickory Creek?
We did not, but I think if we make those lots facing that, right now, that where the alley is, that's where the street will be, right? And then the lots in the back, you're gonna have lots, you're gonna have like homes looking at the backs of the properties, those yellow ones. Instead of like facing right now, like instead of facing that park, that yellow ones is gonna be facing the back of the homes there. Right now, those homes on Oxford Street, the peach colored ones are facing the Oxford Street, and yellow ones are also facing the Oxford Street. If you flip it, the yellow ones will be looking at the back of the property.
Not if you flip the whole thing is what I'm getting at. Right. I mean, just imagine Hickory Creek Drive being on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to flip flop the entire property.
Right.
Did you have any other ideas, Naveen, on how to park for some of those homes?
Like mainly, like Ben talked about, we didn't plan for like parking for the events that happens like once or twice a year. Mainly, we were thinking of making the guests enjoy those green spaces that we're providing. That's why we have the connectivity of the sidewalks throughout the project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Council, any other questions or concerns?
Good job on a real difficult piece of property.
All right, entertain the motion to approve ordinance number 21-039.
So moved.
Councilman Goodwin, Councilman Drake. Those in favor?
Aye. Aye. Nope.
No.
All right.
Here's a deal breaker.
Yeah, thanks. So, I too have concerns, so how I vote for this sends it back to P&Z,
No.
or what to do?
Well, it depends on how you vote for it.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you how I'm
So
voting.
if you vote for it, then it's approved.
Okay,
If you vote against it, then they gotta go back to the drawing board and figure out some other design or some way to handle it. I'm assuming y'all are not voting because of the parking issue.
That's my project.
Right, so they would have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to figure out the parking issue.
I too vote no. So that ordinance fails, 3-2. And again, my reservation is also the parking. That's a long way to have to walk, from Oxford Street or whatever, so, not that we don't want this project here, it's just that I think it needs to be laid out a little bit different. All right,
Mayor and council, as a result of your action on 13, you would have to make a motion to deny the preliminary plat because it doesn't meet the required zone, so.
Bob, can I ask you, is this one of those instances, are they denying it without prejudice, as in we could?
Yeah, they can bring it back as soon as they want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we were against the project itself, it's the layout for the parking.
We understand. I think Ben's question, Mayor, goes to the fact that in many cities, they have prejudice or without prejudice. meaning that you can't bring back a denied zoning case for a period of time, but we don't have that in our zoning ordinance, so it can come back as soon as the property owner desires.
Okay. All right. Item 14, consider approval of preliminary plat for related planned development zoning district, PD 27R, for single-family development on approximately 14 acres of Lot 2, Block A, of the Emerson Addition, further described as being generally west of Hickory Creek in the city of Red Oak, Texas, I assume that's case P 21021, Mr. Naveen. So this is the same one that we just kind of, we don't need to take action because we know what's going on.
Mayor, you have to take action. You have to take action on a plat now. If you don't, then it's approved as a matter of law. So you've got to take action on it. So it has to be denied since it does not meet the requirements of the zoning for the property.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to deny PD 27R.
So moved.
Councilman Franklin, second by Councilman Brawley. Those in favor of denial?
Franklin, aye.
Raleigh, aye.
Those against denying that?
Goodwin, no. Riley, aye.
So his vote needs to be yes, right? Denying it. You're denying it.
Yes.
And you're denying it. So, and I vote,
They're not.
Wait.
Wait.
Mr. Goodwin and Mr. Drake, are y'all in favor
Of denying.
of denying? You're in favor of denying it. Mr. Goodwin, are you in favor or opposed to denying it?
I'm opposed to denying it.
Okay.
okay, so that's
It'd be-
3-1.
It'd be Franklin, Drake, and Brawley for denying it, and Goodwin,
3-1 to deny.
right.
Correct.
All right, sorry. All
I
right.
know, that's what I get for letting you make a negative motion, but that's fine. Thank you.
All right. Item 15, you should have been here. Item 15.
Yes, I should.
It charges mileage and everything.
Conduct a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 21-040, the city of Red Oak, Texas, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance and map for the city of Red Oak, Texas, as heretofore amended by granting a change in zoning to authorize a specific use permit, SUP, to allow for an accessory structure to be generally used as a garage workshop, approximately 1,500 square feet in the Ranchette District, RAE, approximately 0.9 acres, to be set back behind the house within the city of Red Oak, Texas, providing a severability clause, providing a violation of this ordinance, providing a penalty clause, and providing an effective date. Case Z21026, requested by Miguel Castillo. Castillo.
Okay,
I
thank you, Mayor.
apologize if I butchered your name. Castillo. Mr. Gensel.
Yes, sir. So this is, as you just read, this is a request for a specific use permit. This is for a garage workshop. Y'all may remember we've approved quite a few of these over the past several years. This gets triggered because when something like an accessory structure such as a garage workshop is proposed to be greater than 650 square feet, it needs to be done by SUP. The applicant has proposed a 1,750 square foot garage workshop that would be generally in this location, kind of back behind the house. I'll get you to a site plan. So here's the house here, and the proposed garage workshop would be here, which is 160 feet from the property line. So it's set way back. It's almost a 1 acre lot, and the narrow side is to the street. And also the applicant is showing 100% masonry garage, even has some architectural details that others haven't proposed before, like putting the eyebrow above the doors and a soldier course. This was approved by P&Z unanimously. He is going to do the best he can to try to match the brick using Acme brick and the roof material colors. And that's the roof plan that shows 612, so that meets or exceeds our 512 requirement. I know the applicant's on tonight. I think we just heard from him a moment ago. So with that, I'll end the staff report and take any questions.
Is this a commercial operation?
No, sir. We had an extensive discussion at P&Z with the applicant. One of the neighbors had suggested that it might be commercially related, but in having the conversation, there's no evidence provided that he was doing that. It sounds like this is all for personal use to keep his stuff in an enclosure. He's got just some personal tools and trailers and stuff, and putting them in the building, you know, it keeps it out of view and hopefully keeps neighbors happy and gives them a place to tootle around with some tools, doing some house projects.
I've heard that this might turn into a cabinet shop. That's one reason I was inquiring.
Yeah. Well, we haven't heard anything. Like I said, we had an extensive discussion, and Mr. Castillo was saying that this is all just for personal use. It's not for a business. We can ask him again to clarify, and I would say that just so we also know for clarity that you couldn't do this as a home occupation in that garage workshop. So if someone was wanting to do like a little home side business building cabinets, you wouldn't be able to do it because the code requires that it be in your main building.
Well, this is Mr. Moses again over on 120 Steenback Court. Albert,
Hang on.
Wait.
Chris, hang on. We got to open the public hearing first.
Okay, sorry.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So anything else, Mr. Hartman? Mr. Gensel?
No, sir.
All right. So the time is 8:53. We'll open that public hearing. Now, is there anyone who wants to speak on this public hearing?
Yeah, I'd like to. Mr. Brenzide was actually on here. He just got off like really during the last agenda item. He lives over at 127 Steenback Court. And then Mr. Hang on a minute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Brenzide, who was at the P&Z meeting on this item, he just got off during the last agenda item here. I guess Monday Night Football is a little bit more important to him. But he and other neighbors in the area know that Mr. Castillo has in the past built cabinets in his garage off and on. So that was why the concern was addressed at the P&Z and why others have those concerns that this building's going to be used for that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moses. Mr. Castillo, are you on?
So is it before or against? In the public hearing, are you for or against?
I mean, myself and the other neighbors are for it if it's going to be used for personal, but if it's going to be used for building cabinets and business, then they're against.
Okay.
All right.
Question.
Miguel, are you on? Not usually. Okay.
Mr. Castillo?
Waiting on,
So we don't, is there anybody else on call that wants to speak on this matter? All right. Hearing none, at 8:55, we'll close this public hearing. I'll entertain a motion. Okay, that's Councilman Franklin and Councilman Goodwin. Those in favor of closing? Aye. Aye. All right, that's 4-0. All right, Mr. Goodwin.
What happens if he does start a cabin out there?
code enforcement.
So, we can stop it. Okay.
So if the neighbors out there see that that's taking place, they need to, let code enforcement, code enforcement can go out and enforce the zoning.
All right, good enough.
All right, so, I guess, so will he be able to have power out there?
Yes.
Yes.
Doesn't it have to have a business meter? You can't have 2 meters on?
No, it can come off the main house.
Yeah, but he can't have a separate meter.
Correct.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, so he's
I
saying
mean,
yes.
we can add it to the SUP as a condition.
You don't need it, it's just.
That stops the factory aspect, just like what we had on, over here on Red Oak Road.
Well, that helps, but it doesn't.
It doesn't stop it, you just use 220, so we run all the, so the regular box.
It's a disincentive for him to.
Okay. All right, council, you have any other questions or concerns?
What's the square footage of the main structure? What's the house?
We'll have about 15.
So this one's bigger than that one.
Yeah, so the accessory is larger than the main?
That's not a joke. All right. All right, that's upset.
All right. Any other questions, council?
All right.
I'll entertain a motion, Bob, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 21-040.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, that's Councilman Brawley. Second, please. Second. Councilman Drake. Those in favor?
Franklin, aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, passes 4-0. All right, that's all our action items to take place. We do have departmental reports. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Public Works, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council. I just wanted, other than my report that's presented, just add to where we're at on kind of give you a project update. The Highland Meadows reconstruction and overlay, asphalt overlay. It was approximately equals out to be about a mile, and that was for sunflower, butterfly, and pansy. That project's completed 100%. Addition, the next pavement project was on Steinbach, and that was about 1.25 miles. And that project's completed as far as the reconstruction and repaving. We are, from a public works component, still addressing some drainage issues. Let's see what else. Oh, and looking at just kind of widening, and there's a bridge right coming out of the S-turn. So we're going to widen that a little bit. It's actually not a bridge, it's a creek crossing, but widen it up and put some safety guardrails on it. Let's see what else. And let's see, Austin Boulevard, the 20-inch water line is installed, and so they bored under Ovilla, and tied into the 12-inch. I think that was done Friday night. So all that connection is made. And see, finally, new water line on Overlook with the roads going in for the Legacy Square area. There were 3 separate tie-ins. Those, I think that was done, it had to be done during the day. So that where the contractors tied in at Sperry and on Hill Street and tied into the existing water line to the new water line. So things are happening, and I guess that's all I have on the report, and take any questions.
I really, I was out on Steinbach today. It really did a good job on that. That is one beautiful road. Hopefully that'll hang on for a long time. And I also really appreciate your guys going out there and filling up any cracks or anything else. I saw them out there today. And
yes.
I really appreciate you putting the icing on the cake, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
And that really, the only complaint now out there is the thing is so nice, people are speeding on it.
So smooth.
But thanks again, I really do appreciate it, Scott.
We'll get in line. Please, Scott, commitment. All right, Mr. Kelly. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Sir.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Right now, we're in our busiest time of the year with events going on and things happening with our sports groups. We've had very successful turnout for the kids for the different groups. I've outlined some of that before. So football, our baseball, softball, and soccer have had like record-breaking turnout for the sports. So kudos to them for their hard work for doing all that. One of the things I would like to ask is to kind of get some opinion about House Bill 1927, which is an open carry bill that just came out. There's been some concerns where folks have come to me and asked about if we were going to regulate even any type of carrying weapons at any of the sports facilities due to the nature of those facilities. Kind of a sensitive subject, not trying to infringe on anybody's rights or whatever, but just wanted to bring that up, that has been brought up to my attention by multiple parties, so wanting to know that if we were doing anything, they were more concerned about open carry than weapons in general, but just wanted to see if there was any concerns from anyone from council that we may to do a little investigating or take further actions.
Well, and we're looking at it internally too. We don't know exactly what we can do. I don't know what authority we have to be able to do that because it's not a professional sporting. Yeah. So the issue is, if it is a professional, intercollegiate, or high school, school event, then it's obvious that you can't carry your weapon. For a youth sporting event, I don't know that we've seen in the law where that is regulated.
It's actually any park, whether it's city, state, any park where there are youth, kids, period. You can't carry your firearm. You can have it in your vehicle. It is allowed to be in your vehicle, but you cannot have it on your person at all.
So do we have to post the 30-06?
You don't have to have any signs. That's just law.
Okay.
But you don't have to post signs for any parts. Buildings, like you have your signs out here, if you don't want, you can bring it into the 30-06, 30-07. We also have a 30-05 for those that are not licensed, which we know that's not required in the state of Texas now. So that sign there can be posted for those individuals.
Do we have a sign up saying that, or?
There's a 30-05 sign for it.
Todd, there's a directive that was published by TML today that would handle the park situation. And it basically said that in the city park, we could not regulate if a person is authorized to carry a handgun, then they can carry it in the city park.
And then, okay.
So.
Well, and that's been my concern because I know even in city facilities, this building here, except when we're having these open meetings or court, we can't prohibit it.
Correct.
Regardless of signage.
That's correct.
And that's been my concern on city property, whether that be a building or a facility or a park or an open space. So
The only,
that's
the only areas that we can restrict handguns are areas that are restricted for employees only. The public areas in city facilities, if the person is authorized to carry a handgun, they can carry it into a city facility. If the person is not authorized to carry a handgun, then the 4605 provisions of the penal code may apply. The TML has published a preferred sign that they've agreed on with me and the rest of my colleagues in the state of Texas. And we'll provide that to you tomorrow. I didn't realize it was going to be a subject of discussion tonight, but
We really can't discuss it amongst ourselves, but they're looking into it.
Right.
Yeah, Bob, if you'll get that to Kyle and
yeah, and I've talked to Kyle about this, and so he and I are on the same page. So
Okay, all right. All right, cool. So we'll come back to the action item, I guess, or may or may not be an action item.
potential item.
yeah, potentially there may be some, I want to say loopholes, but there may be some voids in the state law that would allow us to pass a local ordinance that may make restrictions with regard to unlicensed carry, or what a lot of people call constitutional carry. So we'll get those addressed for you. There's a lot of confusion amongst not only staff members, but amongst the lawyers in the state of Texas, what the outcome of this is going to be. And so you'll be seeing more and hearing more about this in the future.
All right.
So if we have some options, then we'll bring those options back to you once we figure out what authority and options we have.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Mr. Ragsdale, congratulations on your hometown hero. You're up.
Thank you very much. I was going to mention that, and I'm very honored to represent the city and the library. And thank you, Councilman Brawley, for nominating me. I was honored to represent the library in the city, along with Chief Blanton and Chief Wolf, and about 18 other honorees as hometown heroes. Speaking of that, I am also excited about what I'm continuing to do during COVID, and one of them is I am doing story time outside. And as you notice in your report, I had 5 programs presented and about 54 parents and kids. They're dedicated to be out in the heat back behind the library, and the kids seem to have a really good time. And the highest number I had for the month was about 12 kiddos. If you guys want to join us some Tuesday morning, we'd love to have some representation of the city government. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chase, are you presenting, or is Mr. Benford on? I think John's.
I'm on.
All right.
Mayor, council, good to see you all this evening. It's nice to see people outside my house, so that's good. I'm happy. We have completed the network to the concession stand at Live Oak. We had, because of the grading out there, we had to pull all the fiber back out of the ground, and Public Works lowered the conduit for us, and we got the fiber put back in. So that's back up. So we'll be completing the camera system over at the concession stand soon. Then we began a document management project for Public Works. They're wanting to start scanning in some of their drawings and documents, and so we've started that project, that process. And that's the main things, the big projects for this month. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Platt.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple of things to highlight from my report. You may have noticed that we did receive our first allocation of the coronavirus local fiscal recovery funds, and that was approximately 1.6 million. We discussed that quite a bit in the budget, And we have several projects in next year's budget to be funded from that. So as soon as the fiscal year starts, we can get busy started with looking at those. Also, I wanted to bring out a large part of utility billing staff spent their time on the conversion to Encode. We did get that completed. And so utility bills are going out through our new software. And they did for the month of August at the end of the month. So that's most of what I wanted to bring out, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
You're not gonna share that with IDC, are you?
Maybe we ought to apply for our own.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Phillips, are you doing human resource?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yeah, I'm going to actually take this last one. Amanda, I believe, still on the call.
Yeah,
okay. Amanda is slowly working her way back in, so we're happy to have Amanda back, and she's getting caught up on all. I'm sorry.
Congratulations, Miss Amanda.
Thank you.
And so on that note, I just wanted to mention we did have a few new hires since our last meeting. One in Public Works, maintenance worker, and then we've also had a tourism coordinator position was filled, and Olivia Coleman started today in that position, and that was, if you'll recall, Lori's old position. So we're excited to get that filled finally. Olivia brings a lot of experience from the event side of things, as well as she actually did some internships with municipal government in the past. So we're excited to have her on board, and I'm sure there's lots of training to come for her new position. And so also wanted to mention that we had a successful open enrollment for all of our employees in the new benefit year. And so hats off to Amanda for getting all that set up before she took off for maternity leave. And then I didn't want to go without mentioning our HR assistant, Bailey Gleaves, who, if you remember, is our part-time HR assistant. She kind of jumped in and filled in some voids while Amanda was out, and she's been a huge help to myself. And I know Amanda appreciates everything she's done over the last, I don't know how long it's been, but 6 weeks or so. So I wanted to recognize Bailey tonight and thank her for her hard work in that interim period.
Amanda's here.
And yes, I want to add, thank you, Jonathan, for stepping in and helping and covering everything that needed to be done in the last 6 weeks. And I'm glad to be back.
Excellent.
Very glad you're back.
I didn't mean to skip you. I didn't know if you were completely back yet or not. So.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yep.
Is there any time and place for anyone who's experienced COVID on staff, or you have to use their person?
There was, but they ran out already. So now they have to use their normal sick time and vacation. Previously, we did have that. I forget when.
We actually, we actually extended that beyond our what was required by the federal government, and so we extended it through the month of March, and so that COVID time ended on March 31st.
So it's similar, brother, see.
Right.
There.
I think COVID is not to be declared preventable. That has some major ramifications for insurance payment. Might want to check into that. People that may not pay their insurance.
So they already denied that. Blue Cross Blue Shield's already stopped payment because it is a preventable disease.
And so they're paying it if you are vaccinated, but if you're unvaccinated, then they're not paying hospitalization. They may pay you over-the-counter drug, typical stuff, but not hospitalization.
Might want to check into that. That's what we're saying is true. Probably really ought to promulgate that to us. employees. Mr. Hartman.
Mayor and Council, I'm gonna share my screen real quick here with you. Yeah. All right, you guys seen a map here?
Yes, sir.
I just want to update on a couple projects. This is the Creek Bend subdivision. They just wrapped up all their landscaping and they're starting to submit permits. So that subdivision should start going vertical soon. Harmony, the last phase of Harmony are 100% complete as far as permitting goes, and they're almost done with building all these houses back here. Another big subdivision we got kicked off here is Oakmont. They're almost completely done with all the houses in this first phase, and we're wrapping up all of the streets and sewer and water in this second phase. And they'll probably be ready for permits within a couple of weeks. And they're already ready to start grading and doing improvements here on phase 3. So that's that whole subdivision's well over 500 lots. So bringing a lot of new residents to town very quickly. But if you had anything else from the report that you had a question on, I'd be happy to answer it for you. But I just want to kind of update you on some of those imminent projects that are going fast and furious here.
Ben, what's the latest update on the TRA line along 342? Is that open for business yet?
It's been completed. They're in the testing phase. They're supposed to let me know when the testing phase is done and 100% accepted. But it's 100% online. I'm just waiting to get the final from them, basically.
Okay. So we're good to issue permits then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Assuming that the developers have done all of their things that they were supposed to do to get permits other than that.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hartman. Lieutenant.
Mayor and City Council, I want to provide a quick update on the current hiring process. Since we started the open application process with no set examination date, we received a total of 115 applications. 31 of those applications were eliminated during or prior to any examinations. 26 are scheduled for the physical examination coming this Sunday, 9/19/2021. 10 are awaiting the scheduling of the written examination, and 48 are in the preliminary review process and are awaiting approval or scheduling of the physical examination. If you have any questions in reference to the report, I'd be happy to answer those for you.
Council, good? No questions? Great, thank you, sir. And Chief.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor, for saving the best for last. As you heard earlier, we've gotten a couple new hires on, so we've been doing a lot of training with them. We've certainly seen an increase in calls here in the last month. As far as COVID, I wish I had some good news on that, but in Texas, we've got over 98,000 cases within the last 7 days alone. In our trauma service area E, we're currently at 24.83% of hospital capacity, which is about 3,500 patients. We are nearing, in the previous week, it's actually gone down a little bit today. In the previous 7 days, we are nearing our highest measured percentage rate, which was back on January 11th of this year, which was 27.75% of hospitalization. Currently, our total inpatient occupancy rate is at 92%, over 92%. Out of the 1,857 adult ICU beds in trauma service area E, there's currently only 58 available. There are the pediatric ICU beds. We're at 100% occupancy. So that's out of 261 pediatric ICU beds, there are 0 available. And this is all as of this afternoon. Ellis County, we've risen to 56.76% of the hospital capacity with lab confirmed COVID. This is an increase of 2% in the last 7 days. I've actually seen it, this on a 7-day average, but I've seen it much higher than that, upwards of 60-something% within those last 7 days. As of today, Ellis County Hospitals, we only have 17 available inpatient beds. We have 105 confirmed COVID inpatients. We have 0 ICU beds available. We currently have 34 adult patients in ICU within Ellis County, and 12 of those are on a ventilator. In Ellis County, we're currently at 29,160 cumulative cases. We've increased to 374 deaths, and we have 895 active cases currently. Hospitals across the state, including those in Ellis County, are above capacity. Hospitals are still facing staffing shortages due to the increase in COVID patients. Last week, several hospitals in Ellis County were on full divert, which means that they cannot take any patients regardless of the severity. As of this afternoon, speaking with Baylor Waxahachie, they are currently today at 130% capacity, with over 60% of that being COVID. Currently, along the Baylor system, there's 97% of those in ICU are unvaccinated. And some good news out of this, I guess, is as of today in Ellis County, we have a monoclonal antibody therapy center that can treat residents of Ellis County who have contracted COVID. It's all free of charge. You do not need insurance to utilize this. The treatment center is located at the Ferris Scout House, and it's open as of today from 8:30 to 2:30 p.m. 7 days a week through November 15th. That could be extended. That will be seen in the near future. This therapy is for those that have symptoms within the first 10 days of showing those symptoms. This therapy center uses the Regeneron. I'm sure you've heard a lot about that in the media. And studies show that it reduces hospitalization by over 70%. Patient will receive the therapy through injection. And it's an injection of the antibodies. As you're aware, the antibodies are what your immune system typically produces on its own to react to an illness that you may have had in the past. If your body recognizes the illness, it will produce additional antibodies to neutralize the bacteria or the virus so it cannot, infect your healthy cells. If you haven't been vaccinated against COVID, your body's not producing those antibodies to attack the virus. If you've had the vaccine, you are producing some antibodies, and this therapy can help assist your body with building those antibodies quicker and help neutralizing that virus. Those that receive treatment typically receive relief and are nearly cleared of the virus within 24 to 48 hours. Anybody that wants it, again, it's open to anybody in Ellis County. They can get on to mdlabtx.com. Again, that's mdlabtx.com and register to get that. Some updates on vaccination. In the U.S., we're at 63% of the population over the age of 12 or above that are fully vaccinated. In Texas, we're at 59%. And in Ellis County, we're at 50%. As I do each month, and I will continue to do, I do encourage everyone to get vaccinated to help reduce the spread of the virus for your own health, for your health of your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, etc. Again, while the vaccine doesn't prevent you from getting the virus, it does protect you from the severity of the symptoms and potential hospitalization. One last thing is, I'm sure several of you have heard, there's a new variant that is now, as of today, in all 50 states. It's the MU variant. Currently, there are over 2,400 cases in the U.S., and it's been listed as a variant of interest by the WHO, or the World Health Organization. Some data is indicating that it has properties that could evade our current vaccines. At the current time, it's not clear if the MU variant will have similar impacts as the Delta variant. As you well know, the Delta variant accounts for 99% of all cases currently. It is possible that the MU strain is somewhat more common, and only a fraction of the virus has been detected because only certain samples, test samples of testing someone go out to detect the different variants. So not every test, every COVID test that gets done doesn't necessarily get sent off to see if it is a variant. So it may be more prevalent. We just don't know about it yet. There's a lot to still be learned about that. So I just caution. I wish we were getting closer to the end on this, but unfortunately, I think we're more towards the middle than we hoped. And I'm open for any questions.
Ben, are local hospitals like Baylor down here, are they still on divert now?
No, sir, not as of now. They've been able to ship some of those patients out, but it's been on and off. So they'll go on divert, and then they come off for a few hours or maybe a day or 2 days, and they go back on divert. It just depends. I do know hospitals in Texas are full. I talked to a friend of mine is a CEO of a hospital up in North Texas, and they had a patient last week that they could not find any hospital in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and the nearest place that they had to ship that patient out was Arizona. If that doesn't open your eyes, I don't know what does, but that's a long ways from basically Wichita Falls, Texas to Arizona.
Yeah, and then also just for clarification, so that 50-something ICU beds in all of the service area, that service area is 19 counties, including, the big ones being Dallas and Tarrant and Collin and all of this area. It's not just, a small area, it's the entire DFW Metroplex. And it's not, when we get into those divert situations, it's not just that they're diverting COVID cases. If you have a heart attack or you have a car wreck, they can't take you to the hospital because they don't have any room in the inn. They're having to take you who knows where, maybe to Arizona if you're having a heart attack. So it is a bigger problem, community-wise than just COVID itself, the impact that it's having on other patients with other problems.
In addition to that, we're potentially seeing increased response time from ambulances because ambulances are no longer able to transport within our county. The ambulances are having to go to Dallas or Tarrant or, who knows where to be able to drop off patients. So there's less ambulances available. So it's increasing response times to heart attacks, car wrecks, allergic reactions, any number of medical emergencies that one of us may respond to. I promise one day I'm going to bring positive news.
Thanks, Chief. Mr. Miguel, are you on the line?
He was. I think he got back off again.
He's been dropping on and off. I don't think he's on right now.
Do we have a phone number for him?
Brian and Ben May.
Yeah,
he emailed us and we emailed him back to tell him the results of his case. So I think he's aware.
Okay.
How about the minister of propaganda? She have anything to say?
She over here? She left?
No, talking about Ms. Beasley.
She was here earlier. Oh, there she is. She's in her office.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just in my office.
Do you have anything
to add? Any propaganda you've been putting out lately, or?
Of course, sir. That is my job. Mayor and Council, I don't have anything to add. We are steadily increasing our following on social media every day, actually, which is great to see. The more people that like and share our material, the more we can get it out there and in front of the public. I guess the one update I will tell you guys, I've been working with the fire department. We are migrating all of their information off their third-party website to the City of Red Oaks website. So all their information will now be housed on our website internally. And then their third-party website will eventually dissolve. Right now, we're just going to kind of redirect it so that it'll redirect to our new landing page, and then eventually we'll phase that out. So that will be a new change. If any of you guys do go to the Red Oak Fire page, that'll be something new.
They'll still have their Instagram and Facebook and social media accounts with both the PD and fire and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we're not eliminating any of those. We're just, bringing the fire department's web page underneath the city's umbrella.
Okay.
Gives them a lot of, benefits as well. Our current website has a lot more security protocols, I think, than the website platform they're using, as well as a lot of archiving potential as well. So.
All right.
Thanks, Lex.
Yep. All right. So we will go into closed session at 9:30. Thank you all, departmental reports, and who do we have that needs to come over?
Okay, so Chase, we will need everybody, council in here. We'll need Jonathan, we'll need Lee, we will need Bob, and I think James Parker is getting on if he's not already.
I'm speaking here now.
And he's not on at the moment. He's supposed to be getting on. Lee was letting him know. Yeah.
All right. And the time is 9:30.
Yeah, I think everybody's gonna take a break real quick anyway, so. And be sure you shut off the live recording.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
Oh, never mind. Was checking just to see on the executive session, so we're good.
Yeah.
So did they say they'd be back in 5 or 10 minutes? I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I missed the very end of it, James. I think they said they'd be back in 5 to 10 minutes. They're taking a break.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Just letting you know, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Not Karen.
Night, John.
So I'll see you in a week.
Did you know Lori's out too?
No, I didn't know that.
Lori has COVID.
Oh, that was nice of me to share with her, wasn't it?
So how many days do you have to be out?
10 from the day of, your symptoms. So my symptoms started on Wednesday. Well, Wednesday morning at midnight. And so mine will be up on Friday. So my 10 days will be up this Friday, and then I can go back to work on Monday.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So it looks like we're still recording.
We are.
So we probably have to watch what we say.
Yep.
I hope you feel better soon.
Thanks. I'm getting there. Just
Yeah.
tired mostly. You think you got a lot of energy when you wake up in the morning, but it doesn't last very long. So
Yeah. Well, get better.
thanks.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right. See you later.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
I know they fixed, well, they already did surgery. All right, the time is, 10:41, and we will reconvene back into into open session. And council, we don't have any action items that need to be addressed, as a result of our executive session. So I will entertain a motion at 10:41 to adjourn.
Second.
Goodwin and Drake. And, those in favor of going home?
Aye.
That's quick. 4-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Chase. Thanks, Mark.